remember one girl, many people would probably remember her, but I'm not going to put light on her particularly. But she came into a tremendous place of seeing. And she just cracked open on the stage in front of everyone. And after 2 or 3 days, I didn't see her anymore. Something just, where is that girl? I want to see her. So we said, we haven't seen her around for a while. It's been like 3 or 4 days nobody saw her. And I said, does anybody know where she lives? Oh yeah, I know where she lives. So I'll call her, let her know. Then she came and I said, what happened to you? I don't see you. She says, yes. She came. Yes. After saying outside. Yes. Well, you know, Muji, it's an amazing thing happened now. Because then I went up to Arunachala. I was up there and I met this man, this being, she says. I met this being. And he seems completely awake. And I just happened, like we just met. And then we kind of just been spending a lot of time together, and you know, it's kind of like I fell in love with this being. And then I was saying, you know, how can I just have 2 gurus in my head? How is it possible that is? Then I said to her, do you think consciousness actually intentionally, you know, wished for you, having brought you to a place of seeing, then bringing this duality and this heavy confusion for you? Was it consciousness who did it or not? You see? Because somehow secretly, something inside you, maybe a vasana, some deep tendency, is that you need to, you need someone. You always need somebody. And so this is the ace up the sleeve of the mind.
It feels like this.
Yeah, you see, is, you know, now I met a living being who has fallen in love with me just at the time when I'm coming into freedom. Oh, wonderful. What a beautiful ending. And I know who this character is also. He's always on the prowl. You understand? And then somehow I said, but you have thrown it away. You throw it away because something inside you feel it needs to be with somebody, and it became your powerful distraction. As the ego itself is dissolving, pulled into that inner space, some trauma is coming up for it. And the greatest rescue for the ego is a relationship. Oh my God, I thought I was finished. Somebody actually loves me. You know? And boom, boom, there you go, you know, into the sunset on your white horse. And we will not see you, not around here, not for a while. And so many times this has happened. So many times.
I feel for me it was the biggest challenge I ever had, this relationship thing, always, because there is, well, maybe it's also a conditioning that you have this belief that if you find the right partner, the rest of your life will be, you're just in love and everything is great and fantastic and beautiful and flowers and everything. And I many times I fell into this. Yeah, I follow this idea, this notion that, or even hypnotized myself that when I fell in love, this was the right person now finally for the rest of my life.
What is it that needs that? You should look into it.
Yes.
Because it's not to do really with love. It really is some fake fantasy that really pulls you again into the bush. And when you're sufficiently confused, it will release you again to wonder about bumping into trees because you miss your chance. It's what happened for many people. And we needn't limit it to, you know, romantic relationships. That's just one of the great rivers. But in many things it comes. Whatever it will take, whatever is your weakest link, if you want to say this, it will come through this door, through this way. Something to entice your mind to go again, to look for this way out. This way out. This is why great is the one who transcends all these things. Because no one needs to boast about it. Because it can come, and when it's present, it is flowing in your veins. And with such remarkable intimacy that you don't even question it. You enter that drunken state. In the end, you're always on your own. Wake up to that truth. And your mind will say, yeah, you know, it's so difficult to live with all these people, and, you know, sometimes this, and have a good grumble. But wherever life places your farm, there's nothing like an automatic failure anywhere in you. Except if you give in to that type of mentality, to go back to that old way of thinking and so on. And it's always, seems that life is always on the verge of this kind of chaos. None of your excuses are true. None of our excuses are true. We make it up. Something inside decide, I don't want to do it. And it will find a way out from this. It's life. Consciousness does not suffer. But you, the one who imagine yourself to be the one who goes or comes, that will suffer. What to say about these things now?
I really loved when you said the other day, there was this Japanese girl here, and you said, man is made for God and woman is made for God. For me, this was really such a profound truth, because and also in when you speak about this aloneness, no, I had this very deep experience and this deep knowing one day when I looked inside and I saw that I'm completely alone, and at the beginning I felt so scared, and it really terrified me to see this aloneness. But at the end, when you get comfortable with that, it's so beautiful when you just let yourself fall in that and you really realize it is the biggest truth.
Yes, the mind is afraid of this aloneness because it paints the picture of a person which is a very limited thing, vulnerable thing, alone as a person. But the true aloneness is that you are alone as everything, as the totality somehow. Anyway, this
sharing and support in a relationship, I feel is very beautiful also.
Yes, I am coming to that.
Even though I am alone, like you said.
I am coming to that. There are beautiful examples.
For me, it doesn't feel like it's it feels like something old that's somehow in the very DNA of this body mind, because I actually enjoy being alone, and when I'm in a relationship I'm always wanting to be given my space like this, and so I can see this, but it's like it really feels like when you speak about vasanas that it's something that's just there and it's old and it somehow needs to be burned, and I don't know how that burning happens.
Yeah, it seems to get in the way of real love, really.
Yes.
I mean, this is not an anti-relationship talk or something, because it is possible, of course. We see the evidence of that. And often your best relationships are not the ones you run after. It's just the ones that just reveal themselves. Like I say, the beloved is not chosen. It is just recognized. And so it's not that, oh, you know, you should go looking to find, you know, your life partner or whatever it is. I think that comes from another place. And we should not be pursuing these things. When you don't, then you find a life which is yours, that in some beautiful way you may encounter someone, meet someone in whose presence you feel deeply comfortable and at peace and fall in love in the most natural way. And your connection doesn't become a distraction from the truth, but enhances your journey and your possibilities, heighten the possibilities of discovering the truth. You resonate with each other. You become almost each other's guru if you're true in the heart. But much, for instance, in Tiruvannamalai, it was rampant with monkey business for me, because, you know, they were just popping around, ping, 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 around like this, because there was so much insecurity coming up for people to do with, you know, kind of like, I am disappearing, and the I that is disappearing, even the disappearing of that I, and the seeming terror of the one who is afraid of disappearing, there is a powerful joy at the same time that is there, because the one who is disappearing, thank God, you know, is the one who needs to disappear to find that which cannot disappear, one's own true self, you know. And so much resistance is there. This is why it seems so rare for a human being to really come out of that mischief and distortion, because the minute you hold on to the sense of ego, there's a vulnerability and a neediness to be secure or made to feel secure or to buy into some promise or some projection. So the culprit is not relationship, but ego. Romantic relationships are just an exquisite way of exposing some things which other relationships are not able to do, because they really heighten and expose the deeper strategies of the ego to try and satisfy its projections. There's going to come a time when these things mean nothing for you. You will know what the ego would mean. What is the ego? What is a person? What is that? It won't even mean. You may not even ask this question. What is it? It won't have any taste for you. I was going to say like unsalted food, but many people here they like unsalted food. But let's not go and fall into the relationship trap. It's not just about relationship. Unless you're talking about relationship in the wider sense, which is our interactions with this universe, inside this universe. That everything boils down to, you know, Romeo and Juliet. It's just things to do with the little tricks that goes on inside the head when you become obsessed with an identity which is not real. And how it pulls your attention away from that unique and auspicious discovery. The most powerful distraction comes into play.
Tasya dimai dio